This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 7th day of March in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The high number of road accidents in the country is of major worry for President Irfaan Ali. And during his address at the opening of the police officers' conference this morning, he raised the issue. The president said while the Guyana police force has made improvements in the areas of human resource development and the execution of its mandate to serve and protect, the increasing number of road accidents remains a major problem in the country. President Ali said an innovative and comprehensive approach is needed to effectively tackle the carnage on Guyana's roadways.
It's unfortunate that you have to find an innovative way of enforcement when it is within the power of all of us, within the power of every driver, every road user, to act and behave in a manner that is befitting what is expected of them on the roadways.
Last year, a total of 217 persons lost their lives in motor vehicular accidents and incidents on the roadways, representing an increase of more than 50% when compared to the previous year. Speeding and driving under the influence of alcohol are among the leading causes of road accidents, according to the Guyana Police Force. President Ali said the situation is further compounded by an increase in traffic.
I think there is any more a off-peak moment on the East Bank Highway. All hours in the night, and the number of trucks, the weight of the trucks. All of these are matters that we're not unaware of, but matters that compound the situation.
While noting that the rate of development cannot be slowed down, the president said it is important, however, to find a balance amid the developments.
Find ourselves in a fortunate and unfortunate position where policy making, decision making, judicial services, police services, all must now operate at a speed and a pace that the institutional arrangement and the system was not built to support. And that is a fundamental issue that we have to resolve. When you look at the size of our implementation, fiscal implementation space, look at the size of the budget for every agency, you would understand that the system, our institutional systems, were never built to support this magnitude of expansion and growth.
According to the president, the use of technologies such as additional CCTV cameras could support more monitoring of communities. He also noted the importance of those communities working along with the police force. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Dad! Dad!
Is that real?
आप लोगों को नजर आ रहे हैं?
In our search for sophistication and grace, the Super Stylistics team invites you to be part of something extraordinary. Mothers and daughters who possess aura and presence that transcend through time. Step forward and become part of the Mother and Daughter Pageant 2024. Join our legacy as we redefine elegance for generations to come. The search for the epitome of timeless love begins now. Call 226-2825 or 626-0460 to secure your spot in the Mother and Daughter Pageant 2024.
Negotiations between the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union wrapped up today with an agreement that a proposed multi-year agreement that is currently under discussion will cover a period of 5 years, 2019 to 2023. That agreement was reached following a brief impasse. President of the Guyana Teachers Union, Mark Light, who led a 13-member delegation to the negotiations with the Chief Education Officer and his team, explained that the Education Ministry had initially proposed that the agreement should cover just 2024, but the union did not agree to that one-year agreement.
What we did coming out of this afternoon's meeting was have the ministry commit to the period for the multi-year agreement to be signed. As you know, we had a little impasse this morning as to when it should commence. They were insisting that it starts in 2024. The GTU insisted that it should go back to 2019. That has been achieved. As
he stood outside the Ministry of Education's Brigham office where the meeting took place, Mr. Light explained that it was important to first establish a time frame for the agreement. The union hoped that the Education Ministry would have also agreed to a terms of reference for the meetings. The two sides have since agreed to have signed minutes in place at the conclusion of every meeting. Based on today's minutes, the two sides will return to the negotiating table at 9:30 next Tuesday morning. Light and his team intend to discuss the proposed increases, which range between 20 to 25% for the established period.
The GTU is mainly interested in the teachers' salary increase package. So that remains our number one priority. So we would have started the discussion as it relates to the proposal, and what the union did was to say we want to know what is coming from the government side in terms of our proposal being 20% or 25%. What is it that they're offering? And I think the ministry did ask for Tuesday so that they can report back in terms of the numbers.
And he made it clear that the union is not prepared to accept single-digit increases. Additionally, the union will also be pushing to have the uniform allowance for teachers increase from the current $8,000 per year to $30,000 per year. Light also reported that though initially reluctant, teachers have returned to school in large numbers.
Initially, I think many teachers were of the opinion that this process will be dragged out. And so there was some level of concern as to whether they should go back. But eventually when we spoke to them, they understood that it's a process. And part of that process, for it to move forward, they had to return to school because you cannot negotiate under duress. So having shared that with them, they have an understanding, and the attendance back at school from yesterday was really good.
Today's meeting was birthed out of the court-ordered mediation process, which brought an end to the nationwide strike by teachers, just as the strike was entering its 5th week. Let's tell you now that while reporting that the Guyana Police Force has been making strides in its operations, Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken has stated that the police force continues to face the challenge of recruiting and retaining ranks within its fold. During the opening of the annual police officers conference this morning, the acting police commissioner said the police force is seeking to redesign and digitize the police entrance exams to attract post-secondary standard education so that it can attract a wider cross-section of Guyanese within its ranks. The spotlight has long been on the force's recruitment policy, which only requires a primary or sound secondary education at minimum for entrance into the force. The salary paid to police officers has historically been cited as one of the reasons why the police force has been facing difficulties in recruitment of new ranks.
We have also confronted internal challenges including recruitment and retention issues, officers' willingness, concern, a need for greater diversity and inclusivity within our ranks. By fostering a culture of support, respect, and inclusivity, we can ensure that every member of our force feel valued, empowered, and equipped to perform their duties with excellence and integrity.
Mr. Hicken also said the focus now is to enhance diversity and inclusivity of the force's human resource composition so as to reflect the makeup of the country.
As we speak, we are across the regions, and the regions will see the makeup of policemen and women as the region would like to see. Meaning, Region 1 will have variant cultures, different from Region 6. And so the police in Region 1 will be a diverse based on what is required in the region.
Still, he said the Guyana Police Force must remain vigilant, adaptable, and proactive in addressing the challenges that it faces. It was also noted that the police force is also going through a rebranding phase as part of its efforts to improve the needs of law enforcement in the 21st century. In wake of the robbery and shooting death of a popular Bartica gold miner and one of his workers at the Rimmerback Dam in Region 7, other Bartica gold miners have made a direct plea to the president for improved security in the town of Bartica and the surrounding mining areas. President Irfan Ali was in Bartica on Wednesday for the funeral of murdered gold miner Zahir Mohammed Sharif. During a meeting with miners and other businessmen, the president said the security situation will be addressed as a joint effort between the police and the miners themselves.
Well, one of the things that a lot of miners have now is they have their own security apparatus. They're facilitating the finance for miners, security companies and so on. So we got to see how we can. One of the weakness I find is that all your miners who are mining in a locality, when you go into an area, you got to build a network among yourselves so that you can support each other.
However, many of the miners complain that while security companies that operate in mining districts are given license for firearms, actual managers of the mining companies who are based in the mining camps are finding it difficult to obtain a firearm license to protect themselves.
So what I will do, I will let the commissioner come, right? He's right here, but he will come back and meet with miners, and we can discuss some ways in which we can have even more collaboration.
Very well.
That'll be good.
Following the death of the miner and his worker, the Small Miners Association issued a statement calling for increased security for the miners. The association said the incident serves as a stark reminder of the grave dangers faced by those living and working in Guyana's interior regions.
At the most critical life-changing moments, the National Insurance Scheme is here to ensure that your needs are covered. Access reimbursement for medical expenses for various aspects of your medical care. We know that eye care is of utmost importance. Receive assistance with our Spectacle Care voucher. Visiting the dentist? Dental care is also covered under our sickness benefit services. Offset the funeral expenses of a loved one with costs covered by our funeral benefits. National Insurance Scheme. We're there every step of the way.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo, from its pristine rivers to its abundant resources. It's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
commitment to this land
is not just about ownership.
It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Declaring that the prevalence of crime may be affecting the mental health of citizens, Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken today said the Guyana Police Force has been battling to prevent or stem traditional and new types of criminal activities in the country. He told his fellow police officers this morning that while the force has been dealing with crime and criminality the best way it knows how, it still remains a major challenge for the force.
Let us not underestimate the challenges we face. A complex issue ranging from persistent threat of drug trafficking, the increasing prevalence of cybercrime and digital security threat amidst our resources constraint. And so the challenges includes negative social media influence, adapted to changing societal dynamics, balancing the need of tourism and those of local communities, and addressing issues such as petty crime and harassment.
According to Mr. Hicken, issues such as transnational crime, the country's porous borders, substance abuse, gender-based violence, and mining-related criminal activities and illegal immigration have also been posing some challenges for the police force. He said the force will be seeking closer collaboration with various communities and other stakeholders in addressing some of the challenges.
Our projections are therefore to integrate technology in our policing methodologies through the adoption of advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, and predictive policing tools.
The top cop acknowledged that to respond to some of the challenges, the police force needs to increase its capacity. He said the police force will be expanding its transportation fleet by 100%, and added that the other operations of the force are guided by its 2022 to 2026 strategic plan. The force will also be moving to prepare its posture ahead of next year's general elections. The hopes of Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken and Acting Deputy Commissioner Calvin Brutus to set up Sandpit operations on the Suzac-Linden Highway have been dashed, with Vice President Barrett Jagdeo telling reporters today that it is not going to happen. According to the project documents published by the Environmental Protection Agency, both Hicken and Brutus filed applications to set up independent sandpit operations on the Suzac-Linden Highway. In the published newspaper notice, the two senior police officers were announced as seeking to acquire mining permits from the Guyana Geologian Mines Commission for the purpose of extracting quarry sand on a commercial scale. With the allotted areas measuring 11.7 acres each, the two top-ranking police officers were each hoping to sell 76,000 tons of sand annually over a period of 10 years. But at his weekly press conference this afternoon, Mr. Jagdeo said no permission will be granted for additional sand mining.
The government of Guyana's position is clear. It's not going to happen. Now they may have the land for agricultural use. That is what people have land for, but not for the purpose of mining sand.
The Vice President made it clear that the government has put a hold on all new sandpit operations on the Suzac-Linden Highway. He said with sand mining now a lucrative business, there have been more than 200 applications for sand mining pits so far. However, the administration also needs land development for new housing schemes and towns along the highway, and therefore cannot be wantonly giving out land for sandpit operations in the area. Mr. Jagdeo also said that with sand in high demand, the price for sand has gone up, and the government is looking to bring that price back down.
We have noticed that people who had sand pits were jacking up the prices. The government already opened up some public sand pits. We intend to open up more public sand pits to lower the price. So we're not giving permission for no sand pit at this time. That is the position that's clear.
Hicken and Brutus submitted their project summaries to the EPA with the hope of securing their environmental permits to advance their applications for mining permits from the GGMC. The published applications raised eyebrows among law enforcement officers since the two were seeking to enter into the mining business while still serving in the top brass of the police force. While the leader of the New Movement political party, Dr. Asha Kissoon, intends to make public the reason behind her decision to hold onto that joined the party's parliamentary seat, months after she was expected to resign. A new and united Guyana, which is next in line to take up the rotating seat won by the Join the Parties list, has accused Dr. Kisuna of reneging on the agreement on her allotted time in the National Assembly. Contacted today, Dr. Kissoon told news source that while she has no comment at this time, she intends to prepare a statement on the issue and release it to the media. Questioned as to whether a reason exists for her decision not to resign at this time, she said there is a reason, and she will explain that reason in the statement that she intends to release.
There is, and I'll let you know as soon as I prepare a statement, okay?
A new and united Guyana has slammed Kissoon's position to hold on to the parliamentary seat, essentially blocking that party from sending its representative to the National Assembly. With her party's 244 votes at the 2020 elections, Kissoon was expected to spend just 90 days as a member of parliament. It has been more than 180 days since she took up the appointment, and ANOG has complained that repeated efforts to get her to step down have failed. Kissoon currently sits as an opposition member of parliament and deputy speaker of the National Assembly. She was placed in the deputy speaker's position as the governing PPP used its slim majority to nominate her for the post and vote her into the position. A new and united Guyana said she had also agreed not to take up the deputy speaker's position, since they believe that the opposition party with the largest number of seats should be in that position. Kissoon also reneged on that agreement.
In our search for sophistication and grace, the Super Stylistics team invites you to be part of something extraordinary. Mothers and daughters who possess aura and presence that transcend through time. Step forward and become part of the Mother and Daughter Pageant 2024. Join our legacy as we redefine elegance for generations to come. The search for the epitome of timeless love begins now. Call 226-2825 or 626-0460 to secure your spot in the Mother and Daughter Pageant 2024.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids, or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. Haiti's government on Thursday said it would extend a state of emergency for another month after an escalation in violence from gangs seeking to oust the prime minister while he remains abroad. According to Reuters, a declaration in the Caribbean country's official gazette said the state of emergency would extend until April 3, with a nightly curfew until March 11. The government said this was in order to re-establish order and take appropriate measures to retake control of the situation. Authorities first announced the state of emergency on Sunday evening as fighting escalated. Thousands of inmates were broken out of prison, and an estimated tens of thousands displaced, while Prime Minister Ariel Henry had traveled to Kenya to seek its leadership of an international force intended to fight the gangs. Henry remains in Puerto Rico, apparently unwilling or unable to return to the capital, which has seen gunfire break out around key transport hubs, including the international airport. The U.S. has been pushing him to expedite a political transition. Thousands of people marched through Colombia's biggest cities on Wednesday to protest political, economic, and social reforms backed by President Gustavo Petro, as well as to demand action against deteriorating security. Petro was elected in 2022 on ambitious promises to fight poverty and inequality and end Colombia's 6 decades of internal conflict, which has killed at least 450,000. The government's biggest proposals, reforms targeting health, pensions, the labor system, and education, have faced stiff opposition in Congress and from the opposition. The protests, which were peaceful, took place in the capital as well as other cities. As of midday on Wednesday, some 52,000 people had taken part nationally, according to the police. Petro has defended the reforms, arguing they will benefit the country's poorest. While reform proposals are making their way through Congress, Petro lacks a majority among lawmakers after a tenuous coalition disintegrated last April. And finally tonight, international news. President Joe Biden is to announce that the U.S. military will construct a port in Gaza to get more humanitarian aid into the territory by sea, senior U.S. officials say. According to the BBC, the temporary port will increase the amount of humanitarian assistance to Palestinians by hundreds of additional truckloads per day. The operation will take a number of weeks to set up, the officials said. However, it will not include U.S. troops on the ground in Gaza, they said. The port will be able to receive large ships carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters, the official said. Mr. Biden is due to make the announcement during his State of the Union address later. Israel's military launched an air and ground campaign in Gaza after Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7, in which around 1,200 people were killed and 253 others were taken hostage. More than 30,000 people have been killed in Gaza since then, the territory's Hamas-run health ministry says.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.